something is posted. So none of that discussion was there. So that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, I was just that's
Yeah.
why I said that brought it up.
Well, and remember, we can always delete a broadcast if we need to delete a broadcast.
Yeah.
But at least we can get what the remainder 45 minutes. I don't think a half hour session is bad. But to recap, what I need Eric, what I need you to do is sort of try to find a couple more websites that are delivering Revit families. And Tyler,
Right.
there's no reason you can't do the same. No reason. And to be honest with you, I say we should all try to bring back 5 interesting websites next time we meet next week. And I think that's probably some of those will be repetitive between each of us.
Yeah.
I think that what do you guys think would be the days that we would like to do this? I mean, it seemed to be a lot to do it 4 days a week and then that one big one on Sunday.
I'm pretty much cool with any day. I will say, typically, I don't like doing Monday nights because I drive up that day, but I didn't work today.
That's your long day.
And then Friday's kind of the same thing. I drive home that day.
So why don't we think about Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Okay.
We'll do this 7:30 to 9 thing. And then we'll try to do a little wrap-up session on Sunday and let the Sunday session either, if we have work or have a directive that we're doing, that'll be our long one. So what I'd like everyone to do is do a little bit of searching on the internet of where you would download some Revit families.
I have an answer that I know you're not going to like.
Tell me.
The first thing that pops up when you Google best Revit file share is ACC, Autodesk Construction Cloud.
Show it to me.
Yeah, but that's only going to have the library files in it.
That's what I thought. That's what the targeted advertisement gives you. Link Revit Cloud models. But it's not exactly the file share we're building. It doesn't just have a library of files to download.
No, and I'll be honest with you, since you opened the door to it, I want you to find Autodesk solution to where you would get a crack unit, to where you would get a hot water skid. I'm trying to think of one more. Give me one more, Eric. What else? A piece of how about a slot machine? Since we just did a casino, you got that crack unit, hot water skid, and a slot machine. How does Autodesk? I want you to do that little bit of legwork because you brought Autodesk into this. Because what I think we're going to be able to preach to people is Autodesk just gets the hook stuck, and they don't ever reel the fish in. They just get you on the hook, and then they pull the money from you. And right now, it's sort of ironic because my discussion with the other people was they're really scared as well for their doggone jobs. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people right now worried that there's not enough work going to be coming around. And especially when we're talking about with the election, everyone who's ever been in business for any length of time would say, oh, this is just the election year thing. It happens until the election's over. No one really decides what they're going to do with their construction money. So there's this little bit of a natural lull that's going on right now. I think we can capitalize on that and grow this community for when it does come back. And if it comes back either way, what those two people are saying is they're worried about the jobs because they don't know if work's ever going to start back up because who knows if construction's going to continue to go on. Now, here's my problem. If that's the way it goes, there's no way the industry can afford the amount of people who don't know how to use Revit, who have Revit jobs right now. there's going to be a lot of people laid off. And a lot of times, what they'll actually do is close their BIM department altogether, which then makes our services even more valuable when the work does pick up. So the question I definitely want you guys all to consider is, and that's where it comes into the unemployment. And I'll be honest with you, another sneaky little thing, and this is only if that one person wins president. Actually, it's not, because both of them have now said this, but I believe the one party says tips for restaurant workers, but the other one says gratuities are not going to be taxed.
Ah.
How I want to get paid. In other words, when we help you solve your problem,
We
don't
charge $10, but you could tip us.
You can tip us. Thank you, Eric. You see where I'm going?
Yeah. You saw the overtime claim too, right?
I sure did. I knew that. That was
What's
the one.
that?
You want to know the funny part is, Tyler, you asked Misty. I called that 2 days before it happened.
Wait, they're not going to tax overtime?
They're not going to tax overtime, Eric. Can you imagine how
Then
that
I
would
want some fucking money back. See, this is the stuff that I'm seriously over. Let me pay my school loans off, and then we're going to go ahead and pay off school loans for everyone. Fucking
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it brings up an interesting point. It definitely brings up an interesting point. Tyler, were you looking to share anything else? Eric, do you want me to show your screen?
No.
I'm running into some of the same old stuff. The third, I'm looking at it. Yeah, go ahead and show my screen. I'm looking at the top 20 shared Revit family sites or whatever. And there's one here for RBI water heaters. They're number 3. And I'm assuming all they did was water heaters, but they're dead. The site's down. So I don't know how reliable this little thing. I mean, and Revit City's number 2, which I already know what Revit City's all about.
Well, and we know about RCAT. RCAT's been around. Look, TurboSquid is still listed, even though they don't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have Revit files, but they're listed on the Revit thing.
Hold up, right there. Hold up, click that again. Where you were just on the third one, Revit Hotel Resort. So it's in there. It's just buried.
Well, that's actually what I was even finding with that GK Trader thing that I was in. This one here. If you do a search for Revit, it'll give you all the Revit stuff. But if you go into 3D models and you do architectural, there's file format. There's no filter for fucking RFAs. So the only way you're going to get it is to look up Revit.
Or RVTs. Boy, I really like that damn
This
wooden
thing,
hand. I really like that a lot.
I thought that was pretty apropos.
$9 for 150 architecturals kit bash. Oh, it's all the little damn emblems for your. All very interesting stuff. All stuff that I'm sitting here saying that if we can figure out, if I can tell you the things that we need to add to our library, I'm telling you that before you go working for some post office or some other thing, I have a lot of these families and I just need them cleaned up, thumbnailized, and put up on our website. If we do that, we could very easily, Eric, go back to your list. Again, I want to look at that list of things that you had.
There it is.
Okay, there you go.
I was trying to get this one.
Throw that link up in the chat so no one else has to do that search for it.
All right.
But I'll be honest, everyone should be able to do that search.
Yeah.
How many did they have listed? Did they go to 15, 20? 30?
No, there's 20 of them. It's the top 20. But see, but you're going to see right out of the gate a whole heap of Revit families as well. But if it's SketchUp dominated, you don't want to necessarily get involved in that.
There's a little button at the top that says Revit.
$33 pages.
33 times 20.
But I mean, look at that. What is that? That looks like the one where they just took the 2D thing and extruded it.
Well, that's one that we're going to definitely make together as a nice toilet so people can understand how to model. The joist hangers sort of kill me.
Yeah, I don't know where you would put a joist hanger. Wonder if these guys embed into the wall. Probably.
Maybe. Are these purchased or free?
These ones look like they might be free.
So, instead of us charging for the file, you're wanting it to be free. Now, if I set up a user interface, do you want a free and a premium subscription?
I want everything to be free, and I don't want to have any damn sales bullshits.
Okay. Yeah, I get not selling individual files. I'm all on board about that. I just didn't know if you wanted to have pay $5 a month and they can reach out and contact you if they have any issues at any time, kind of like you were saying.
Well, and I had a fellow in Tennessee who reached out to me a long time ago because he was really keen on making some good families because he was making a fair amount of money because people were going there to download the families. Now, part of the problem that I see on that Revit content, Eric, I want you to keep in mind, okay? Do they have the electrical symbols? Do they have the valves, the gate valves and the ball valves and the things that we typically need? Or is it just architectural frou-frou for 3D rendering?
There's some ball valves. Let's see what they look like. Those are RFAs.
And when you click on, what does it say?
Pick an account.
Yeah, it's going to want me to create an account.
Well, and that account we're going to want to set up as one of those seats. So for the next session, I want everyone to have seat 1 emails on their computer on their Outlook.
I don't know how I'm going to set that up. Let me figure that out this week.
Yeah, well, that's what this is for, to give us a little bit of direction. That's why I say that we'll go with what you said. We'll do our next meeting on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be a little bit more, that's going to be for the site. That's going to basically be me teaching you how to put in property lines and how to make those contours. And then whichever one of you wants to click like a son of a bitch around there and help me make those contours, I'll pay you for that time. But I would like all of us to take till Sunday to sort of see what other Revit delivery sites there are. Or cool Revit sites, because if they're cool, that's what we want to mimic.
Learn from, see what worked and what didn't.
Yep.
I got you.
And let's try to keep counts, get an idea of how many families they are, because I want to have the most families of anyone, because I'm pretty sure we can. This guy definitely does mechanical work. I can see the connections. I can see the type of stuff he's putting in there. I'm not real fond with that scroll method.
What do you mean? This thing?
I also don't like the idea of putting the same thing over and over again for the one black, one silver, one gold.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, this is never-ending scroll. I guess that's what they all do now, huh?
Just about, yeah.
I'm not fond of that.
Oops.
So right there, it's telling you. Right there, it's telling you how many.
Yeah, 150 in the doors. Case works pretty heavy. How's
I
that
can tell
case?
you now, if you start getting a large enough library that's very usable like these guys, and you just take away their source of income, you're going to piss some people off.
They're not making that much off of these.
Yeah, I don't think from Turbo Squid, I would not imagine they are. Would not imagine they are. And I'll be honest with you, Tyler, this is the greatest holdup to you being able to really gain ground in Revit. This is the biggest problem. In all honesty, if someone from Autodesk just so happened to come across this stream, this is what Autodesk should be providing you for what they charge you as a yearly basis. This should come with the product. That's
Tyler,
why I can't
I
see
think
charging for it.
I think we talked about this early on in the training stuff, but that's one of the most infuriating aspects of this whole thing is 2007 is 17 years ago. That's when we made the switch. Even prior to that, the family libraries from Autodesk to you when you purchase the software has not changed. They don't even go in and update the file to the newest format. If you load it and you pull from the library, it's most likely going to tell you it has to update the version.
Yep, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Now, that brings up a very interesting point. You got to be real careful what you do these families in because Revit has the upgrade only feature. Once you've updated a file, you can't downgrade the file. In other words, if it's in 2021, you can never go back and read that information in 2020, which is really hogwash, but it allows them to keep people, forces them into upgrading their software, which ironically is no longer necessary because they don't sell their software. They only rent you their software, so they don't need to keep people upgrading.
Brian,
But
I got to step out for a minute. I'll be back.
you're fine. But ironically, Tyler, you might be faced with a job coming to you in 2020, like the casino, and we had to do the job in 2020. So if on your families they're all in 2024 or 2025, no one can use them. So that's why we need the 2020 baseline because we want our families to be provided in 2020.
You want them to be backwards compatible with all the newest softwares.
Well, you want them to be able to be upgraded into all the new versions of the software. And since you can't go backwards, you have to start at a back point.
Yeah.
And you'll notice from some of those sites on Eric's top 15, what happened was they used 2015 as the baseline before.
Yeah.
So, in other words, even though they might have been using a new software, you got to be so careful in what you create your family library in, or you can't use those families. So, we are going to have our baseline be 2020 for our family.
Okay.
I didn't check with Eric. When we kick off our Thursday meeting, I want to make sure what's up with your software. Is it still running?
No, me and Eric's both should have just expired this week, so I'm going to have to make us both new profiles, but that's
Will
fine.
you do that on Thursday?
Yeah, that won't take me but a
We'll
second.
do that on Thursday before we go live because I think if Eric has the software, I think he'd be willing to go through all of these families. I'm telling you right now, we can triple the number of the greatest sized family provider from what I saw on that list.
Now, also something I wanted to mention to you, that one of the reasons I did the Seat 1, Seat 2, and Seat 3, if you wanted to pay for Revit, because I know you kind of argued
what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah, you could have these logins, and these logins could be kept confidential in this group. And let's say, for example, me and Ginger shared Seat 1. So we would contact each other to use it, and then Eric has seat 2, and then somebody else has seat 3, and so on and so
Well,
forth.
and let's say Joe gets laid off and he joins us and says, hell yeah, I'd be into that. He could
Yep.
use a seat.
Exactly.
That's what we had discussed. A+ on you catching on to what I was trying to sell. That was perfect.
That was kind of my thought process too, and that's why I made them admin accounts on the website.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And see, I think that with most like Outlook, you can have multiple emails. What I'd like all of us to do is I'd like all of us to have that seat 1 email, so that if I wanted to call all of you guys, all I had to do was send an email to seat 1. We all have to be careful of is if you reply to that email, you have to include your name and information on that reply.
I would recommend not using the actual email itself as the form of communication, because you're going to have a lot of verification issues. The software is going to fight you.
Explain that a little bit more if you would.
So C1 at ROG4, look at it like a blank. It's a bot, and it's being used to host other services. But when you start actually trying to use it as an email, say Ginger's in the middle of doing something and I log into it, it's going to lock her out, kick her out of everything she was in, Autodesk, all that, because it logged in from a different MAC address. And it's just going to lock up everything. And you're going to have to go through 2-step, verify it all over again, let her log back in. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if you use it just as a bot for different access to different websites and profiles, that's perfect. But when you start trying to actually harvest the benefits of it being an email address, you're going to find a lot more issues than you want.
Well, let's explore that more. Now I understand what you're saying, but see what I'm thinking the convenience factor is if I sent an email that to seat 1 that says, is anyone using this login right now? Everyone who gets that C1 would be able to see that.
Kind of, yeah, but it would probably be better to just have a group of, let's say, like 4 people have access to seat 1 and just message that group.
Okay.
It's probably going to be easier on the actual software.
All right. And
have like a little group chat or something, or for example, the Discord. If you did want to go back to the Discord at any point, you could have a private chat room that nobody can view except for the people who have access to it.
Okay.
And the beauty of Discord is it can ping your phone. If you have the app, it'll shoot you a notification like you just got a text message.
See, I have this. No, that's not it. Where the heck's my Twinmotion?
I know Ginger can vouch for the 2-step getting very annoying, having to re-authenticate where you're at, who's using it.
50 times a day.
Exactly. And you don't have more than one person accessing one email from multiple devices.
All right. I want you guys. This is called Twinmotion. You please download the Twinmotion trial. It's always free. And what we're going to do is once you start to draw a little bit, we're going to try putting some stuff in Twinmotion so you can do some rendering. Okay. And if you remember, I did this when I first came up.
This is one of the first things you did when you met Dan, wasn't it?
Correct. Let's see. Is that opening it? Yeah, it's loading it right here. And I didn't even get to do the fun stuff is when you start dropping the people and the grass and that stuff around, it'll just blow your mind. But this is what's going to take those drawings and that Revit stuff into the most important part of what we're going to do is getting people to visualize. And I think most of this load time is all related to the electrical file was pretty sloppy. And I never cleaned the electrical file up and the fire protection file. Which goes back to where we're going to separate ourselves from most people, because we really want to be able to do the whole all the disciplines together, so that one discipline doesn't fall behind, because that company now is working on other bigger and more important jobs, which has happened on every project I've ever been on. I didn't think it was going to take quite this long to upgrade it.
Oh, also something I wanted to mention to you, Brian. I found out my PC found out the crashing issue. It has a defect. It is not operating at proper temperature, just as I thought, and I have to send it back to the factory for probably a month.
For a month?
More than likely, knowing them.
But then what are you going to do for a computer?
I think I'm going to buy a tower for my home before I send this back. So I haven't sent it back yet. I haven't started contact customer support, but I talked to a guy. He tried low voltaging my laptop. He tried messing with a lot of settings, and he just came to the conclusion, yeah, it's got a physical defect inside.
So one of the things is I need you to download the Twinmotion, because I do want to update the casino to this Twinmotion so that it can be provided to people and so other people can see it. Still think that the Deluxe was much handier than this, but you're never going to get the real fancy rendering out of Deluxe that this will do. And that's going to be used definitely on this mountain house design and for the design across the street that I'm going to be doing. We want to do some real fancy renderings so that I can show the judge when I go in front of him and have them look at it and be like, wow, you really put a lot of thought into it, when really that's not necessarily the case, but it is the case to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you wanting to start on that house across the street?
Tomorrow.
So you're waiting on us. Got it.
I got a call into George. George was supposed to come down tomorrow.
Okay.
So, and I need to figure out a course of action. Obviously, I was hoping to be able to set windows and do all that stuff this week, but this tropical depression seems to be saying otherwise.
Oh, are you guys getting ready to get wet?
Oh, it's been raining here nonstop. Are you guys getting it up there in Danville?
Since about Saturday.
Oh, you have been getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not heavy, but it's constant.
Yeah, it's now starting to come down pretty good. But, I want to teach you guys how to use this Twinmotion, as well as finish teaching you on how to use the Revit. But you know what I'm going to say next, right? You got to click. You got to draw a little bit, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, if that 4-day rumor is true, I'm going to be talking to you for 10 hours on Friday.
well, I hope for your sake it's not, because I know it's never fun to go through. And I've given you 2 homework assignments. Try to have them ready for Sunday. Download Twinmotion. Ginger, you're not going to be able to do this. I just got to thinking. There's no way our buddy's going to give you that privilege.
Probably not.
No, she's not. Which gets
I'll
us back.
ask.
Do you want to do that?
I'll ask her.
Try to be sweet. Don't be a Brian. Tell her it has nothing to do with me. Now, for closing, Tyler, you understand this StreamYard is going out under your BIM still.
Yes.
I need your help. So that's maybe where we can swap out with Topo Surface. Have a little meeting. I need you to help me switch my accounts. I want to get that Bluebeam that I'm paying for. I want to get the Deluxe that I'm paying for. And I want to get the StreamYard that I'm paying for all switched over to be the Rogue email account as opposed to the Your BIM. I want to basically try to phase out Your BIM within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Plus, I think you might have noticed when we came into Your BIM, I think we've got 4 more hours, and then I run out of hours for what I've paid. Which
You have to pay for this?
I have to pay if we post a stream. I
To YouTube?
Now,
Seriously?
if I don't, it's only charging me when we go live, which is really stupid because I could easily kick on my Camtasia and record everything we're seeing and post that file live. See, it's where there's so many things out there that people charge for that there are ways to get around what they're charging for.
I was gonna say you're just paying a convenience fee right now, my guy.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I get you. And I don't want to be paying a bunch of convenience fees if we don't need them. But my Your BIM, we're gonna set up a new one. So what I'm gonna want you to do is set me up on StreamYard going to that email.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Have you logged into your email? The one I made you?
I have not. You're gonna help me with that on Thursday.
Okay.
You're going to help me with that before we go live. You're going to get Eric's software working and your software working. Ginger's going to hopefully have good news that, yep, she was able to download the Twinmotion. I know they loaded it on Mike's computer. And see, that's where I'm saying that I want to add 2 more people to this list of us, this group. When we start learning the Twinmotion, I want to add Thomas and Mike. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to advise Howard that he really should make this investment into developing his BIM staff in the hope that construction will continue to happen after the year 2024. But I know right now, no one's got anything to do. What you told me, I already heard some of. That, to me, says this is the best time for us to launch this concept. So, what the hell are you drawing, Misty? I've got to look. Oh, she's drawing the house. She's drawing the house. I need you to come help me build.
Is this the one across the street?
This is the one across the street.
I got you.
So, and she's going to have files that we can probably share together so that you can sort of pick apart as well and see what she did. Are you just going back through your old files, Misty? I'm guessing she can't hear. Or her mic's off. She probably got her mic up around her ear and she's talking to us right now, but we can't hear her. Is that what it was? Misty.
I don't think she can hear it all.
Nope, she's talking. I can see her waving her hands. I look, watch this. I can see her waving her hands, but she can't talk. because whenever she moves that mic up, it kicks it into an auto mute.
Now,
Does that
can you hear
make
me now?
sense? I
Yep.
can.
How about now?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. It just flicks off sometime. But what were you saying?
Are you actually drawing right now, or you're just going back through the old files?
No, I already updated all this stuff for the bathroom and everything. So these should be updated and everything. I was just trying to picking things out I need to fix. That's all. It's pretty much done. So I need you to look at it. So
Oh, good.
yeah.
So that's it, Tyler. That's how complicated a house it is. It's a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath, simple little mill house.
It's a shotgun house.
It's a shotgun
Yeah, baby.
house.
Yeah.
You familiar with that term is from? Back in the 80s, they were called shotgun houses if you could kick the door in if you were serving a warrant and see the back door from the front. You could clear
You
the whole house with
absolutely
one
can.
shotgun.
There you go.
Yep.
You absolutely can. In matter of fact, sort of funny because there's an architectural effect that they like to do, which is when you're at the front of the house to be able to see out of the back of the house.
Yep.
So, and these drawings we're going to try to get prepared so that we can get some prints run, so that we can have blueprints across the street, so that whoever shows up, and I'm hoping that's what you and George are going to be able to do, is get me a HVAC group or a plumbing group to come out. I've got the electrical covered, and it's going to be up to us to do a little bit of framing and set the doors and windows. And then I would hope to call for an inspection, have it insulated, and then we just need to do some drywall and millwork. You feel comfortable with that level of work?
I'm sure I can handle it.
I'm sure
I'll
you
have
can.
George to back me.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And I might be able to get his buddy Angel there.
Well, and see, that's what I'm thinking. But all of you guys, let's try to get at least 5 websites that you think are good, and try to get Twinmotion downloaded, the new version. That's a free one. The only one who's got a problem with that is it doesn't require administrative privileges. So Ginger's going to have to try to work on that a little bit. I'd like to get into Twinmotion because I think other people would enjoy watching those videos as well, and we'll start to get some traffic from those videos. How can you show me your website again? I'm going to share your screen. Can you pull the website up?
Yeah, it's live for anybody to look at.
Yes, I know that. How are you handling these videos? What are your thought process for handling the videos?
You talking about the ones we're making right now?
Correct.
We'll have a link attached up here at some point under probably either blog or groups, and it'll go straight to the actual YouTube channel, unless you want to host the videos on this website, but that's going to take probably more money.
I don't want to host videos. I want that storage space for Revit families and Revit projects.
Yeah, in that case, we'll just have a link, and it'll probably attach our Discord, attach our YouTube, any social media you wish to have, anything like that. It'll be down here in the contact. Right now, I've just got your phone number, the email. This is where the address will go, but we don't.
What do you know about Vimeo?
Vimeo, if I'm not mistaken, most people use it for phone videos.
For what?
For making videos on a phone. Most of the time.
I've had a Vimeo account for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nice things about Vimeo, I actually just got an email today, is they don't recommend you go only YouTube because of their censorious nature, so to speak.
Yeah.
And Rumble. So
Rumble, you've mentioned to me, but I think Rumble is somehow tied So it's up. It's here. I mean, Barstool has its own ad.
Yeah. What I want is when we do these go lives, I want them to go to Vimeo, YouTube, and Rumble. Rumble is the least censorious, and if you notice from the splash page, it's the most Republican. All the conspiracy theorists went to Rumble.
Is that
Rumble,
oh God, yeah, Trump, special guy.
right?
Make money
And
with the guy.
what you're going to find is Rumble is actually banned in several countries because they won't censor stuff.
Dear God, that doesn't sound amazing. I mean, I like the concept. The concept's great until you start getting into the crazy
I'm pretty
people.
sure there's some good Revit users on here. If you do a little bit of searching for Revit videos, you should find some.
Spanish.
You're going to find that most of the Revit is going to be in a foreign language. Mm-hmm. And I'd like you to do that same search on Vimeo and on YouTube. You know, we want to see what other people are doing to see where we can fit. Doesn't look like they have all. When you hit the view all for those channels out to the end of that, yeah. How many?
This isn't necessarily Revit. This is just anything that has Revit in the name. So like Revitalize.
I get
Revit,
you. Nope, yeah. I get that.
Market Revit, but there's
the
Revit
nothing. Guy. And see, I'd be interested. We need to start doing a little bit of research because I'll be honest, it's supposed to be a Revit online group. I think that the people that are leading in these other areas, both on the free families or paid families, as well as the tutorials, I think they may be interested in joining the group. And what it ends up doing is it puts the Revit experts together, which that's really, and that guy looks extremely structural. Oh, he has some MEP.
I was going to say, this is years. He's
go back a page to where you'll see there was a bunch of Dynamo. Let's see. Yep. That's all Dynamo for creating walls and floors.
But it's all posted 3 years ago, Brian.
I know, but here's the beautiful part.
This guy's been doing it for 3 years, and he's still doing it. He hasn't posted in 9 months, though.
Yeah.
Last video was 9 months, and one of them was a drill.
Well, that means he's probably gotten himself sucked into a big job where someone needed someone to do a structure or something like that, and it was extremely lucrative, and he's doing a lot of work.
Or he gave up on Rumble. Yep. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Beautiful. I love that, Tyler. I love that. That was excellent thinking. See if he ever did it in Vimeo. Understand, I do believe that we need to go to all 3 platforms. And then the one that I've never really dove into, have you done LinkedIn? Has anyone done LinkedIn?
I know Cody has. I ask him about it.
I have an account, but I don't go on there. I don't know that. Can you post videos on there?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And that's where I'm willing to pay Tyler to be a social media presence, because I think if we threw something up that had pointers to that stuff, once someone comes to our site, I think they're going to come back.
Yeah.
And more importantly, my goal is that I don't just want them to come back, but I want them to come back and join us. I think these meetings with several people are very beneficial. You have something to play with. I know you guys are still working under some time constraints with what you got going on in the field. Not going to beat you up. But damn it, Ginger, even from Montana, I texted you better be drawing.
I did draw some.
All
To your
right. Well, you
house.
didn't show it to me.
Okay.
Show it to me on Thursday, will you?
All right.
Have your Revit file open and show me what you drew. Show me what you're proud of and show me what you wish you could do. All right? Everybody look for those websites, download that trial, and let's meet again on Thursday.
All right.
And I hope you don't get laid off anytime soon. I hope that job just continues for you. I hear you. Look at this bastard. Nobody's going to keep up with him.
I'm kind of
What?
cracking up that it's inside of the Epic Games launcher.
That's
You know what
it.
that is?
It is. I know. Yo, I do. I do.
So that was
You probably have that installed.
I don't.
Remember, Tyler. If you're gonna play a video game, it's a good idea to play one that pays you.
Speaking of that, my buddy actually just went to Vegas this weekend and competed for $1 million in Call of Duty.
I'm not talking about that kind of pay.
I'm just saying.
Well,
It was fun watching him.
hey, all I can say is this game I've been playing has paid me consistently to raise a family of 7 for the last 25 years.
Yep.
I hope you guys push into it. I think we're at a very pivotal time. I think we can use that fresh blood, but don't miss the boat. Tyler, you could have done a little bit better on the website. I know you were crunched for time, but I ain't gonna beat you up. You got it running. Help me transition everything over to my B. Mitchell at Rogue 4. Okay?
I gotcha.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys joining. We're gonna see Ginger's drawings on Thursday, so that gives her 3 days to scramble like hell. Hell yeah, I had all this shit drawn last week, Brian. I love procrastination. Believe me, guys, I love procrastination. But you gotta be able to pull the monkey out the ass when the time comes to point. That's what I've been fortunate enough to be able to do. Right? You have to pull out that miracle and have people say, how the hell did you get all this done? And you sit there and say, I don't want to tell you 2 days ago, none of this was done. That's how you can generate decent money that we should all be making. I hope you all have a good night. Eric, thank you for joining.
Yep.
Thursday, you heard the plans. We're going to get everything working on you guys. And then I'm going to put you and Tyler, or you and I'm actually thinking to put you and Ginger together to start going through my families so we can explain what needs to be done, set the scope boxes, do that kind of stuff, so that when we roll out our library, we're going to dwarf all the other libraries that are out there.
Okay.
Sound like a winner?
Mm-hmm.
You bring a lot to the table on that because you fortunately have been in so many disciplines.
Yeah. Well, and I also did the BIM management at Odell to try and set all that up and learn that it ain't no easy task.
Well, let's see if we can approach this, because I think the thing to do is to try to get a group of 3 or 4 or 5 people to do that. Not necessarily the 5 that's on right now, but I'm hoping that we get some people say, hey, I want to be part of what you're growing. Because that's when we start getting organic growth, that's when we're going to know where we've got something. And I do believe we have something. So I appreciate everything. I had a wonderful time in Montana, guys. I cannot wait to get back. I'm going back in May. Until May, I want to work really hard on doing this. Okay?
Okay.
All right, man.
Hey, Ginger, did Nathan end up getting laid off?
No, not that I know of.
I was told he's on the list.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I know he's interested in joining into this whole thing. He's talked to me about it a lot, asked me a lot of questions about it.
Does he have a computer?
He's got a nice computer.
Well, then let's get him. Let's get him in. Let's get him in. All right.
Why
How
not?
old is he?
He is 19 or 20, and he's learned drawings from the job we've been on. He helped walk a lot of people around trying to locate fan coils, things like that. So, I mean, he's decently familiar with the Deluxe. He's used it a lot more than anybody I know.
Well, tell him we're interested.
I already got his email address.
Ginger, do you have an open line of communication? Do you get along with Lisa?
Yes.
Would you reach out to see her and see the status of her son?
I did ask her about him. She said he's been working and going to school. Like he has a full load schedule, but I will mention it again.
If you would, since we're about to kick this off, A+, that's what I want to hear, Tyler. I want to grow this. That means we need to grow it both with rookies and with experienced people. And I have some experienced people who seem very intrigued by this. I did not get the files on that other project yet, but I do plan on seeing if we can't get some funding from other sources so that you're not actually out of my pocket, but I've got the funding to get you guys to put the hours into the investment. So, all right.
All right, man.
Thursday, 7:30 to 9, tentatively on Sunday. Sunday's when we're going to discuss the websites. Thursday's when we're going to get everybody up and running and look at some of my files. Tyler, see if you can get it so that we can upload files instead of the Google Drive.
We can do that now. It's just I can only have anybody that's logged into the admin side currently. I got to figure out how to make it a public Dropbox.
And we have 100 gigabyte.
Currently, yes.
Okay. Why don't you try to set me up a Google Drive for my B. Mitchell at Rogue 4 as well?
Okay.
Okay.
How big? Terabyte?
Yeah, terabyte.
Okay.
Terabyte will work. Because then we can put big files there and allow people, if you just want to download everything, guys, go right to the Google Drive and download it all.
Right.
Instead of putting the traffic onto the website.
Yeah, the website itself will host kind of the showcase stuff.
Exactly. It'll be the thumbnails and the jump over so that click on the thumbnail, you go to YouTube, or you click on the thumbnail and you go to the Google Drive, and there's all the stuff.
Exactly.
Sounds like a winner to me, buddy. Thank you guys for joining. Didn't mean to go over 10 minutes over. You can shoot me later.
All right. We'll see you Thursday.
We'll talk Thursday.
All right,
Okay.
y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.